Howdy folks, the Rugby Power Rankings after round number 7. I'm still on holiday, technically. So I'm sitting here on the floor in my in-laws' place. Got a whiteboard, I got a pen, I don't have any magnets, but I watched as much as I could of the 4 games because there were a couple of buys this week, and yeah, we'll go through the rankings. You guys can let us know your thoughts. Hope you guys are all doing good wherever you are in the world. Starting at the bottom, kind of no surprises. We've still got Moana, Pasifika at the bottom, but I think that was their best game of the season. Down in Christchurch, Crusaders still missing a few guys, but I mean, Moana, Pasifika were leading. They were leading at one point. What was it, 21-17 at halftime? I mean, their 2 guns are certainly Almoa and Tawatawanawai, right? But yeah, Crusaders too good for them at the end of the game, but yeah, I just thought they played all right. So, yeah, not as much kind of doom and gloom for them. Now, the Rebels, sadly, I've got down a couple of spots. I've got your jersey on. It's the only Super Rugby jersey I brought to my holiday for whatever reason. But, yeah, down 2 spots. Lost to the Blues. It's kind of a tough one because the injuries in that game were horrendous. How many guys did the Rebels lose in that game? They lost both their hookers. They lost Fa'amusili at the end, I think. They lost, they just lost so many players. So they go from being 17-13 in front at halftime to losing the game 54-17. So the second half was a bit tragic for them. So there you go, down 2 spots, sadly, for the Rebels. So I can't really take the injury into account for the calculations because I don't have a method for it. And then here you go, the Reds. What's going on with the Reds season? They have only gotten 2 wins this season and got absolutely blown away by the Brumbies up in Queensland. It seemed pretty wet, which obviously didn't help matters. Well, I mean, they should be used to it, to be honest, because that's their home ground. But man, yeah, what was the final score in that one? 54-17. That was the other game. It was 52-24. So very similar scoreline to that Reds game. I mean, the Blythe red card looked pretty bad. But yeah, there's another one that goes from a competitive halftime scoreline to being just a big blowout. Like it was 21-17. Like the Reds just conceded a try right before halftime, which meant they went in at the break behind. But yeah, there you go. Number 9, which would have been the bottom row on my old whiteboard, is still the Waratahs. Now they are up mainly because they didn't play. They had a bye. So the fact that they didn't lose and these guys lost kind of means they've traded places. So how fair or not that is, well, it'll basically, let me just say, it'll even itself out over the course of the season, and likewise the Force. Now, I'm sorry if this whiteboard isn't all that clear because the blue on the blue, the black one's really, I used a black pen last time and it was a mission to clean. So we're going with the blue. The blue's a lot easier, even if it's not easy on the eye. The Force likewise had a bye. So trick for the Force and the Waratahs to go up with the power rankings is just don't play. There you go. The Drua, goodness me, we got all the teams who didn't play. That's 3 in a row. The Drua have actually got a 3-3 record. I think they are 2-4, and then 1-5. So yeah, the Drua certainly got the best record of those 3. But yeah, none of those guys played. So that's a nice even row where nobody played. Number 6, and their winning run comes to an end. The Highlanders. It gets ended by the Hurricanes down there in Dunedin. 14 points to 29 loss. 8 points to 7 halftime scoreline, man. So like all these games at halftime were kind of within a score and then not so much by full time. So for the Highlanders, I mean, they got a couple of tries from their Lucies, but the class kind of showed for the Canes guys, sadly for the Highlanders. But I mean, compared to the start of that season, things are looking a lot more peachy now anyway. Who else have we got? Number 5 is my Blues, whose record this season is a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, 4-3 is not exactly the most convincing. It's slightly better than the Highlanders 3-4. But yeah, it's another one where it's a big second half, isn't it? I mean, maybe a bit fortunate to have all those Rebels injuries, but I mean, Bodie set up a few tries. Talia scored a couple of good ones. I mean, Dalton got on the board. Like, yeah, the Blues just cut loose in that second half. So good to see, but you're still not convinced by the Blues this year, are you? They don't look like that team from last year. Not at all. Not at all. It was nice while it lasted. Number 4, which remember would be the top row in my old whiteboard. Not the second row. The Brumbies. The Brumbies are in their same spot as last week. The Blues went up 1. Highlanders went down 1. The Brumbies, same. Their record is still 6-1. And as I said, they blew the Reds away, especially in that second half. I should say Tate McDermott scored a nice try for the Reds as well. But Nick White was pulling the strings. And, yeah, what can I say, man? That second half from the Brumbies was just emphatic. Like Ikitau and, yeah, and Co. doing pretty nice stuff for the Brumbies. So certainly by a mile looking the best of the Aussie teams, which is pleasing because I wasn't that convinced by Larkham's return, but I'm happy to eat my words on that one. Next, interestingly, I've got the Crusaders down a spot despite their win. Basically, just the way it's worked out, I've worked out that a win over Moana Pasifika at home is about as low value win as you're going to get thus far in the season. So at this point, because Moana Pasifika are none from 7. So the Crusaders should be beating them, and they do beat them 38-21. As I said, they got a little bit of a scare, but Moana in his 100th game pulled the strings really well, set up a couple, set up Taylor's one for sure, and yeah, Crusaders. I don't mean to put you down 1, but I had to put you down 1, basically because the Hurricanes win was just slightly higher value away to the Highlanders. Not only the Highlanders are a better team than the Moana Pasifika boys, but they were away from home. So those kind of couple of factors count in favour of the Hurricanes. If I was betting on a result between the Crusaders and the Hurricanes right now, I'd probably still be going Crusaders. But there you go. I mean, Roygaard, goodness gracious me, he looks the business. He absolutely looks the business for the Hurricanes. So, yeah, that's pretty pleasing for them. And lastly, the Chiefs, despite the bye, I've still got them ranked first, despite the fact that the bye gives a chance for other teams to kind of close the gap on them. Like on the actual table, the Hurricanes are first. I can't have that. I didn't adjust the rankings to keep the Chiefs first. I'm glad the rankings have got the Chiefs first because they're unbeaten, man. They should be first. Bye or no bye. I'm glad that the Chiefs have still got the top rank. But anyway, cheers, folks. Back to holiday mode. You guys let us know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.